Welcome to BYOB. Now is the time to build your own business and push your brand forward. Join us each week for fresh, innovative strategies to bring your brand and business to new heights. Call in at 888-994-4995, Studio B. Now let's get to the show.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of BYOB. Brand your own business, bring your own business, whatever you prefer. You can pull out a notepad and a pen if you want to take some notes on today's episode. I have an amazing guest. Her name is Suzanne Oliver, and she's the president of Momentum Research International. How are you doing today, Suzanne?
I'm great. Hi, Dina. Nice to see you, and thank you for having me on.
Oh, no problem. I'm so happy for you to come on. You're like the perfect person to have on BYOB to explain your experience and your story of everything you've been through with your own business. So my first question, I just want you to tell me a little bit about your business and the background of yourself.
Sure. The background is I'm a Navy veteran. I spent 12 years Navy flight crew and as a mechanic, and it was a blast. I had a lot of fun. I ended up getting out to be a mom, full-time mom, and raised my daughter, who's now a mom of her own. And I ended up going into business in the civilian world, but in 2013, I realized that there was a bigger calling. And so I left corporate and started a nonprofit for women veterans. And as that kind of grew, I ended up realizing that these women needed coaching and help starting their own business. So I ended up working with them to start their own business. And when COVID hit, I had a friend that has a business in California that does hand sanitizer. And before I knew it, people were asking me to get hand sanitizer. And it just morphed from there, from helping friends and family with hand sanitizer to selling PPE, bringing some of my engineering background in. And so Momentum Research was birthed.
So how long has this business been around then?
Well, I started Momentum Research in 2017 to coach and to support other women in life and business coaching.
Wow.
And Heart of a Fighter was founded in 2013.
Wow. So it has kind of, the process of it has been around for a while.
It has.
That's interesting. And so I want to hear a little bit about your mission statement, because it's definitely different from other businesses I've seen around. You're more than just a wholesaler company. You're more than just distributing healthy sanitary products to people. So what is your mission statement?
Well, we want to help, and that's our main goal, is where can we make a difference and where can we support others. So the PPE came in when hospitals were needing more supplies and the government needed more supplies. So we just kind of filled a small niche there, especially as a woman-owned business, a veteran-owned business, and a disabled woman-owned business. So we're able to support a lot of civilian and military entities. But the main mission started with giving back, and that hasn't changed. We still give 5% donations back to women veterans.
Wow.
We're always looking for people that want to start their own business, and how can we support them in either becoming more qualified from the background that they have in the military, possibly project management is one of the big ones. And so our mission statement has never changed. It's all about where can we make a difference.
Wow, I love that. And it's really refreshing and exciting to see a business that isn't just looking for the profits or to watch their own business grow, but you're looking to see all these other businesses grow and actually help them do so.
Right. It's a lonely world out there when you transition from military to civilian. There's a lot of programs that the government or the military offers, but they're short term. So we like to work with people that are looking for long term, that really want to sink their teeth into something different, a business that will support them and their families. Mm-hmm. And they probably don't have to travel as much anymore.
Right. And it's interesting because you had that experience. You were a war veteran and you had to leave and you had to transition into the world where it's honestly almost scarier out here because you have to create something for yourself. And it's just great that you are offering that to all these other people and all these other veterans, not only women veterans, but any veteran to give help to.
Yeah, so, it's a really grateful experience because when you transition out, you're trying to reset your identity. And I think that's the most important point of this is you're identifying as a military person. You go through boot camp, you go through all the training, they take you from being a
Mm-hmm.
civilian down to being military, but they don't really build you back up to being a civilian. So we talk a lot about identity and the identity
Wow.
shift that it takes because when I transitioned out, I didn't know who I was. I realized I was a mom, but that didn't fit
Right.
the woman that was on flight crew at 19 and also the woman that flew out to two ships when women weren't allowed on ships. We were the first ones.
Exactly. Wow.
So, identity and compelling future, what do you want out for your future? And how do we really string ourselves to that compelling future and move towards it?
That's amazing because a lot of people don't even think, yes, of course, it's a huge transition to go from your everyday lives into a war zone necessarily, but then to leave that and go back to everyday lives and not doing what you've been doing for so long, that's hard for some people.
It is, and we find that the Veterans Administration does a really great job, especially for women. The Choice Act is amazing. I can't talk highly enough about it. I've used it. It works. I've used it twice, and I've never had a problem with it. The VA has covered everything as per what they said they would, and there was no waiting. People talk about the VA and the wait times, 5 to 6 weeks to get an appointment. And things are really changing. The VA's done a great job, especially for the women, and we have women's
Right.
clinics now.
And it's awesome
So
that you're the change. Honestly, I don't know a better candidate that could make that change like you. So I do want to talk a little bit about your business. Everyone, her business is called Momentum Research International. She sells things like face masks, hand sanitizer, gloves, surface cleaner, medical gowns. So it's not just household cleaning products. It could go to hospitals and clinics and it's more than just a wholesaler company, and that's what we want to stress. So being a woman in business, the president of your own company, the owner of the company, what is your experience of the struggles you've been through?
I think the initial thing was getting the right message, getting the right vision into the company.
Mm-hmm.
You can start a company and you can have this great business plan and all these great intentions. And what happens when you hit that wall? And
Right.
now you've got not only yourself but your family to take care of. And so what I stress when I started a business or I start coaching someone is make plans to go pivot. What can you do if you hit that wall? How do you go around it? And trust me, that's from personal experience. How do you stop hitting your head against a wall expecting different results?
Right.
So in my business planning, I always made side pivots that I could possibly do something different. And that has been a work in progress. So starting my mission, vision, all of that, and then moving around things has been, I think, the greatest gift. And some of my mentors have taught me that you're always prepared because when you're in business, and like for me, when things started, it was great, but things stopped. And what did I do? I got emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And in my emotions, I wasn't able to make rash decisions. I was kind of like all over the place. So I had a business plan that gave me opportunities to pivot. And I think that's the most important thing when you're starting a business is to look elsewhere besides just that one top
No,
uh,
I for sure.
attribute.
That's amazing advice. Honestly, I think a lot of people, especially if you're watching BYOB, you're here to get some good advice or see what are the stories behind other people's businesses. It's not always a straight line, just like how Suzanne said. She's had to pivot to go into different directions. How else is she going to handle it? So, as a woman, what is the difficulties you've had building your own business?
To be honest with you, in the beginning, it was a little bit daunting because I looked at myself strictly as a woman business. The more that I got into the business, I remembered my military, and I think a lot of women have been in corporate boardrooms. We've grown so much to be part of the culture that we're in now, or our business is in. So if we continue to strive for what lights us up and realize that everybody is all in this together, a lot of the men that I've worked with have been so supportive and so helpful.
Wow.
that I don't feel a big gender gap. I don't feel a any intimidation. It's all really, really supportive. So as a woman-owned business, uh, I use that for certain for other women to know that there's certain things they can do on their own as well. But I really don't find it to be a difficulty. I find it to be just I'm just one of
Right.
the entrepreneurs out there.
Yeah, and it's definitely a different case for you because you were in the military, and honestly everyone has known military or even the army, any branch is man-based, and
Yes.
you took that leap to go in there, and then you took an even bigger leap to come out into the real world and creating your own business. So I feel like you're not scared of anything.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe there's something out there, but I really truly believe it's planning, and I believe it's education. One of my mentors says if you're not growing and you're not learning, you're dying. So
That's
it's
so true.
always trying to learn more or do more or be more. I hate to say that, but it is true. And I'm
Right.
very grateful for the path that I've been on.
So then what kind of schooling was required for you to be in the position you are in now?
Oh, wow, that's a really good question. Um, my technical abilities came from the military. I did go to college prior to joining the military, but I went for poli sci, so that really doesn't give me a whole lot of
Mhm.
background in business. But I have sourced and researched different individuals that have business programs that are mini MBAs. I'd love to offer that to other people that there's resources out there.
Right.
And as a business owner, I really know that I'm only as resourceful as my resourcefulness. So I'm constantly looking for ways to better my knowledge of running a business.
Of
And I
course.
think that's helped me a lot.
No, of course, that makes total sense. Like, even after school, guys, I'm currently in school. Even after school, you're gonna have to keep learning. Everything is changing. It doesn't matter what field you're in, business, anything, it's gonna change. And you're gonna have to, like Suzanne just said, re up your knowledge on anything that you're doing. So, since COVID 19 diminished so many businesses around the world, for yours specifically, do you feel it has helped or hurt? Because, like we know, guys, all of her products are pretty much what everyone is using today during this pandemic. So, what do you think the result was?
It definitely did give me that push. The friends and family that were looking for hand sanitizer and having that ability to give them the actually it was more of a security thing that they had. It wasn't that they had to have 36 bottles of hand sanitizer, but they needed to feel that this was the right thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that that's the same with washing hands, wearing a mask, 6 foot. It's all about what gives us a feeling of safety.
Mm-hmm.
And with the craziness going on, of the knowledge and information that's coming at us all the time, how do we feel safe? So we mask up, we stay 6 feet away, we stay in our homes, we're very cognizant of our fellow man that we're not going to cough or sneeze on them. So I think that's been the interesting part of this. But my business really picked up because there was a shortage of product. And one of the things that I'm proud of is we buy US made. We really try to stay out of the overseas market because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of issues that could happen with that. So I had to learn how to source product. So I have two women that I source from and the woman that owns the hand sanitizer business. So I'm kind of sourcing other women that
I
into
love
local
that.
business.
More women in the mix.
Yeah. So I
So,
think my business took off but the thing that I've learned is now I'm like I have to wear the CFO hat and I have to do accounting and invoicing and
right.
things that I'd never done before. So again, that learning is constant.
That's just so interesting that you came out with this business idea to sell all of these sanitary products years ago. And that no one would have guessed COVID-19 were to happen. And then
No.
every business starts to diminish, and lucky for some, yours rised above it. And that's
Yeah,
great.
I think a lot of it has to do with progress as well. Again, that hit your head against the wall. If you're going to continue to run that business plan that's not working for you. So another thing that we started researching is cutting edge technology. It's not just about gowns and booties and hats and
Mm-hmm.
masks. It's how do we stay safe in the future? So I've been doing research into UVC black lamps, or black, they're called UVC lights, but they're
I've
similar to a
actually heard of
black light.
those.
Yeah, and it decontaminates surfaces. And the other thing I looked at is some thermal imaging software that you can actually pass through and your temperature will be taken. So restaurants and hotels can actually have, when you think about it, you go into a business and they do
Right.
the
We
thermal
do that
scan, the
here.
thermal temperature. Yeah, but how close are you? Are you 6 feet away? Can you stay 6 feet away and do it? Not
Some of them,
really.
I'm pretty sure if you are exactly at 6 feet, it will reach. But then if you're too far away, who knows? Maybe that will ruin the results of what it really is. So basically, what you're talking about is like, let's say you're leaving a store and how we have those security
Yes.
machines. It's kind of like
Yeah.
that where it covers. Wow.
We have the ability to do, I have two different products. We have the ability to do up to 300 a minute, which would be similar to the TSA or to the
Right.
airlines scanning you. And those are pretty expensive systems. But we also have an iPad, a tablet type that hooks into software, a computer, and it's affordable. It can be sit in the very front of a hotel or a restaurant, and as you walk in, it'll take your temperature. And for some reason, it does. You're above. You set your own parameters. I got ahead of myself. Sorry, I get so
No, no,
excited.
it's fine.
You set your own parameters for the temperature that you want to be alerted to. So if it's 98 or 98.2 or something that you want to be alerted that this person might need a secondary check, it will alert you. And what we really like to promote is there's no alarm, because that could set off a trigger for somebody.
Right.
So it would set off an alarm at a hostess booth or at the front desk of a hotel, and they would know to stop and have this person rechecked with
Wow.
polite and loving care,
Right.
saying, "Hi, this is a random check, but we want to check your temperature."
But it's
So,
we've reached this point where if you're going out, it's the respect of the person and the business owner. So if the business owner has a machine like this, they have the right at that point to ask. And if
yes,
not, then they can
yes,
leave.
yes. And it also tells you, you can look back into the software and you can tell who came in with a mask, who didn't, who did you give a mask to. What was if there's a little rile going on, what's going on? Who was this person and who were you riled with?
Wow.
And so it's kind of a facial recognition software as well, and it's phenomenal. It's a great product, and
That's
it's
very
affordable.
innovative. So
Yes.
you're
So that's
considering getting this product for your.
well, yes, I am a distributor of it.
Oh, you are
So
distributing
again,
it.
yes. So again, you hit that wall. Okay, the COVID virus is kind of winding down, or it's winding up, whichever state you live in. And so the hospitals, all the supplies are coming back up to speed. People are not looking for a case of sanitizer to have at their house. They can buy it at Walgreens or CVS. So what we decided to do, again, instead of hitting our head on a wall, is to go around that wall and look for innovative technology that can be used into the future.
Wow. That is, I've never thought that people can come up with technology like that, and the fact that you're already on top of it and selling these things. I guarantee you, I'm going to be walking into stores and restaurants and I'm going to start seeing it. It's going to
I
be
hope
around.
so. I hope so. That would be awesome, especially because it keeps us safe.
Right. And so there must have been something that inspired you years ago to create this business. It would be different if someone now were to want to create the same thing you're doing because of the pandemic. That's why they would want to start
Right.
it. But you started it a while ago. So what was that inspiration?
Well, I've always tried to have something that people need. So when I went into sales, I went into equipment sales and to manufacturing. So I've always been that mechanical side of me, and I wanted something to do with medical. I've always thought I wanted to be a medical sales rep. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And I didn't have that full college degree, so I was never considered for any of those positions. So what else is a girl to do? You're not
Right.
accepted, so make your own. Start your own.
I love that. And I hope that inspires someone because you're inspiring me while I'm sitting here. I like
Oh,
hearing
good.
your story. I feel like I can do anything at this point.
We really can, any of us, anybody. I have a granddaughter that is in the STEM program, and I think that's so important for young girls to be in science and engineering. And
Oh
she
yeah.
actually won an award at 9 years old for an engineering project she did. So anybody can do anything. It's
Wow.
true.
I love that. So, I do want to talk a little about something that I saw on your website. I heard you talking about the Heart of Fighter charity.
Yes, heart
So,
of
do
a
you want to
fighter.
just, yeah, so do you want to explain it?
Sure. This is what actually started me becoming an entrepreneur is I knew that I wanted to give back. So we started Heart of a Fighter in 2013, and I have two really strong women behind me that have helped me all along. Actually, there's three, and Maria Mattarelli, Penny Zanker, and Trina Mayo Day, three of the most amazing women. And the four of us sat down and said, how do we build a nonprofit? So I went to work with a woman that was part of the ADA, the original ADA Act for
Mm-hmm.
Disabled Americans. And I learned from Sherry. And with that background, I decided that there was nobody else I wanted to support than women veterans because it is such a terrible identity crisis.
Right.
So learning about how to give back and support them in 2013 was again a hot spot, another hot topic. The war was winding down. We had Wounded Warriors. We eventually came out with Tunnel of Towers and all these amazing charities, but they didn't work with just women, and they weren't
Mm-hmm.
supported by all the women, the sisters that we all have become. So what I decided to do differently than to say, "Hey, send me 19.99 a month and I'll
Right.
support a women veteran." Yeah, I decided that I would only take donations when there was a woman in need or when there was a woman that came to me and said, "Suzanne, I really, really, really want to up my game. How do I do it?" Or, "Suzanne, I really want to start a business. How do I do it?" That's where I raise money and that's when I pay it back. So everybody that donates knows they've supported this woman in
Right.
her mission.
Doing it individually gets her
Yes,
name out more, and it shows like you're going by each person instead of rather than
yes.
the big group.
Correct. And it's not just a celebrity saying, "Hey, this is what I support." This is women veterans supporting women veterans. So
Exactly.
we'd love to have celebrities, but anyway, that's how it's transitioned into women supporting women.
Wow. And that's just a great message overall. Like, just women supporting women. Like, that's just all we need to just get through all of this. And even if you do have that identity crisis, like you just left a job and you don't know how to get back in, there's many ways to get through it. And the fact that you're an advocate for this and you had the experience. And so, how do you find these women? Do they find you? Like, how does that happen?
It's a combination of things. I'm on a Facebook group with 16,000 active duty women veterans,
Wow.
or excuse me, active duty women,
Mm-hmm.
military women. And occasionally there'll be questions or, "Oh my gosh, I'm transitioning, what do I do?" And I'll offer my services and they'll be really cool about coming to me then. Very rarely do I get the random phone call, so it's mostly Facebook and LinkedIn.
Okay. So I'm just because I'm so curious and you're clearly so invested in this, what do you think the biggest transition was for you to leave the
Mm.
military and go out into the real world?
Well, I had a death in my family. My husband passed away unexpectedly, and I was 5 months pregnant with my
Oh
daughter.
my gosh.
So that's what my transition was. It was not only leaving everything I knew, which was flight crew, which, if you've ever imagined flight crew in the military, it's a very, very amazing job. There's a lot of camaraderie. I was one of the guys, there was very few women in the squadron, especially when I started. So when I lost my husband, I stayed another year and a half in the military. Thanks to my parents, I was able to continue flying. But my daughter was 18 months at the time, and I said, I have to be a mom.
Right.
So it was really difficult to lose my husband. Then he died in December, and my daughter was born in April. So I've raised her alone
Right.
for all her life. And being mom and dad and not being that military
Family.
voice that was in my head. You have to do this. No,
Mhm.
let's do it together. So I started learning different approaches versus giving general orders, which was
Right.
pretty much what we did, right? So I had to be a little bit more soft. I had to soften my approach to friends, to family. A lot of my family didn't realize how hard it was what I went through, especially since Kenny was in the same squadron as I was. We were
Hmm.
stationed together. So it was very difficult. So that was kind of an emotional transition, losing my husband, losing the military, gaining a child, and then going out
Yeah.
looking for work. It was not always easy. And I started at $78 a month. That's what I lived on. So once I got past realizing that I needed more food in the house, the hospital donated formula. So I had a lot of support, but I really had to pull myself up and find my own way. And I tapped back into that when I started my own business.
Suzanne, I just want to say I absolutely commend you for everything. Just the fact that you can sit in this platform, tell your story, to just give courage to everyone that's watching, women veterans that are watching, anyone that is going through a tough time and watching, because you fought through it and you're showing you're a survivor and you made it through. And even though we're in the worst world pandemic right now, you're still thriving.
Yes, and
And
that's the
I'm
key.
happy for you.
Thank you. I like to tell people you're not a survivor, you're a thriver. So you use the perfect term. Yes, we can be a survivor, but you have to live again. If you're always surviving, you're not really living. So we call it thriving. And we're really proud of the women that have come out and are thriving now.
Do
So,
you happen to be a motivational speaker on the side too?
yes,
Are you
I
actually?
have done yes, I've done motivational speaking as well. I last spoke in New Zealand about
Wow.
women's empowerment and how to start a charity. Yes.
Well, I've like
Thank
getting
you.
goosebumps over here. I'm like, there's no way. Like, she definitely has experience.
It,
Wow, that's
it's it's
amazing.
just it's just important to give back. You can have all your own experience in the world, and you can have all your own little cocoon and everybody that supports you, but if you can't give back, if you don't have that gratitude to give back, what do you fill up on?
Right?
And I fill up on helping others.
That's amazing. And honestly, that was the best way to end our segment. I appreciate you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for telling your story, Suzanne. Like, I'm sure
Thank you,
you
Dina.
inspired so many people that are watching.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you. Thank you.
Thank you. And anyone who is interested in Suzanne's business, you can go to info at Momentum Research. And what is also another way that they can reach you?
They can reach me directly at Suzanne, Suzanne, at Momentum Research, and it's INTL for international.com. And our website is momentumresearchintl.com. And my cell phone is 407-412-8289. Call me direct.
Yes, everyone go check her out. She's an amazing woman, has so much to offer. Now, sadly to say, come back next time, next week, for another episode of BYOB. And who knows, maybe we'll have another woman business owner, because it seems to be the theme for this week.
Thank you for tuning in to BYOB. Join us next time for a fresh perspective and innovative strategies to building your own business. If you are a successful business owner with tips to help or would like more information from our hosts or guests, please contact us at 866-224-5422. See you next time.